So thank you to everybody who came out for our last weather briefing of the fall 2020 semester. And it also happens to be my last weather briefing as president of Campus Weather Service. Christopher, who has attended all these briefings, helping me out with any IT issues that come into play, he's actually going to be our next president for the year of 2021. So you can congratulate him if you'd like to, but he'll be in charge of the briefings next semester. So hopefully you'll be hearing from him if any of you who are in the attendees want to be another speaker, or Rich, if you wanted to give another briefing next semester. So without further ado, I will stop my share, and Rich, you should be able to share your screen now. Perfect. And I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Alex. Can everybody see my screen?
Looks good.
Yep.
Okay, and I want to go view, present. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to give like a big overview, and so I don't have to go messing around with tabs, and then I'll go through some particular details. So this is the last map discussion, and of course today's a famous day in history, so I put a little pun in there for you all. So the overview of our weather, it's going to be pretty quiet for us overall, and our temperatures should be near normal. I'm still at 28. Maybe we'll have our first solid below freezing 24-hour period in State College today. Who knows? We have a shot at it. There are some flurries around, but nothing, it's December, flurries should happen once in a while. There's a big storm that's going to produce snow in the Rockies and the Northern Plains, up through Lake Minnesota, Northern Michigan, and that'll probably help us warm up a little bit, and then behind the storm it'll turn cold again. But there are no big significant storms in our forecast period, so it's pretty quiet weather pattern for us overall. And the ENSO signal is for a La Nina, and I guess they say about 1.5 C is a strong La Nina, and the forecast suggests that we'll probably have a good shot at getting to a strong La Nina in the coming weeks. So here's a satellite picture from this morning. You can see we're in this big deep trough, the blue lines if you can see them, and a big deep trough with a couple little lows. And if you looked at this satellite this morning, so a little wave over us passing by, and there was some enhancements in the radar that created some flurries. There's a better wave to our south, and there's been some reports of snow down into Virginia, and I guess Christopher said, I guess maybe just north of the North Carolina-Virginia border, but most of the precipitation's offshore. You can see a big ridge out in the western United States, and what it's off to the north and east is the parting system that gave some snow to Connecticut, parts of Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. I haven't seen any ski resorts open up saying they got blasted with snow, but apparently there was like a 12 to 13 inch swath of snow, and it was a tough storm because they had to generate their own cold air. There wasn't really a lot of cold air available for them, and so the GOES shows the upper level system. We'll look at the GFS, the EFS, and the EC, showing pretty much quiet week, no precipitation of note until maybe the weekend into the weekend. The plumes show how quiet it is. We'll look both the NSEP and the EC, but basically it's a pretty quiet period of time and near normal for our area, and hopefully I'll be able to at least bicycle later in the week. There's a plume diagram, just a quick look. You can see maybe some flurries on the 9th, and then this precipitation event mainly going to be rain, not very much rain, then maybe end of some snow or snow flurries. There's a couple of crazy outliers, and you can see our temperature trend is slowly to warm up this week. And then, this is blocking the image. I'll move this off to the side. You can see we cool off behind that system, get cold again, and our E50 temperatures warm up with that, and then they cool off. Not very exciting if you want to see good winter weather in a storm. Our Insole Outlook is, we're currently in a moderate La Nina, but it's getting close to a strong La Nina. Some of the forecasts show that. There's tend to be a lag in the effects of La Nina. So the full effects of La Nina probably will manifest themselves later in January, February. So maybe winter's our best shot at a winter month. And I find it perplexing that we have all these signals when it's an El Nino, we say it's going to be warm, and usually it's warm and wet in the eastern United States. And then we have a La Nina, it tends to be kind of warm and dry. And we had this big neutral event, and it was warm. And I'm like, so what ENSO signal of the 3 makes us cold and snowy here? It's like, I guess maybe the overriding factor may be the 20th century winters have just generally warmed. So I'll go to the details here. Like I already covered this, but this just kind of reiterates the satellite loop, and you can see the large pattern. If I zoom in a little bit real fast here, over our area, you can see the little hint of an upper level system going by us. Nothing great. There's a stronger system to the south with more enhancement on the radar. If I get rid of the satellite picture, you can see the radar imagery better. Just some really light echoes here. So you may have seen a flurry this morning. Nothing to get excited about as this upper level low comes on through with the cold pocket. And you can see the retreating low to the northeast of us from that gave the exciting weather to New England, mainly on Saturday. And this is the large scale pattern from the, I gotta move this around a little bit so I can loop. This is the large scale pattern in the NCEP GEFS. You can see the two troughs and the big ridge. And if you've paid attention over the last couple months, up here in northern Canada, central Canada, it's been way above normal at times for temperatures at 2 meters and 850. There hasn't been any real cold air. But at the end of the forecast, the models actually put finally some like -30, -32 potential air in Canada. So winter's finally setting itself up, I guess, in the northern hemisphere, at least over North America here. But we watch this pattern evolve, and the thing that's going to catch most of your eye is our heights get above normal, and then this trough kind of disappears in the Rockies later this week. So our heights get above normal, and then this wave comes out and passes up to our west. And that's going to be a snowstorm. And actually, if in the longer range models, there's a series of them. And we just stay in this kind of quiet trough with, with precip occurring, out to our west, and then we warm up, and then we get cold again. Nothing exciting. If I switch quickly to the 850 temperatures, and I go to, you can see how all the yellows and oranges up over northwest Canada. When they've been there almost persistently now for the better part of the last month. And you can see a little bit of blue in our area because some of that air pushed south, and in our latitudes it's a little bit colder in a climatological sense. But if you look over time, some blue developed finally over northern Hudson's Bay and northern Canada, and we get rid of the warmth for a while. So there is some cold air finally in Canada, and we finally see at times a -32 contour. So at least we're getting some cold air over North America. If that's going to help us out, I don't really know. It's not in any of the forecasts that's going to make us really cold and snowy. So if I zoom in to I'll go to the US scale since there's nothing exciting happening here. We go to the precipitation. We'll pick like just the tenths, and we'll look at the evolution of QPF. And you can see the little wave off the coast goes away. It's very quiet across the United States. And then this precipitation event kind of gets going in the central United States, and then it moves into the upper Midwest. And we still have no precipitation through Saturday afternoon. We finally get a slight chance of precipitation as the main event goes to our west. Not very exciting for us. I'll kill this window, and I'll kill this window. And if we look at the individual GFS runs, you can see the blues are the thicknesses below 540, and the color-coded precipitation, and big storm in the Gulf of Alaska. And we'll show how this single model evolves the system. And you can see we just warm up. Our thicknesses go to 546, 552, and then this wave develops in the southern plains, and it heads up towards the Great Lakes. And that'll be the big weather story, I guess, for this week, is we'll warm up ahead of it. We'll probably have low-level easterly ageostrophic winds will keep us a little bit chillier than maybe we think it's going to be. But the big event goes to our west, and then cold air comes in behind it. Maybe we get some snow showers, mainly northwest of here. And you can see some high pressure pushing some cold air in. But yet another wave develops to our west, and then another surge of cold air comes in. I do like seeing a big high up here. It means it can get cold air to push down into central East North America, maybe cut into here. But it doesn't look really optimistic even going. This is like the 18th of December for any exciting weather here other than some rain ahead of any storm system. Classic La Nina storm track to our west. And I'll get rid of that. And this is the European center model. And it's very similar. You can see, if I go through this, you'll see the storm develops in the Rocky Mountains over time. and it heads up towards the Midwest. It doesn't look as deep as it does in the NSET model, but basically the same general storm track. And so it has the same basic trend with the precipitation. I'll cut to the plumes. I'll get rid of these. So this is just the HREF for the next 48 hours. This is the NSET HREF V3. This is the 48-hour total accumulation of precipitation across the across the entire United States. And you can see outside of like the Pacific Northwest and this little event on the coast, it's pretty quiet across the entire United States for the next 48 hours. So if I zoom into our region quickly, you can see it is really, really, I'll have to change my parameter. It's really quiet. I'll loop through the precipitation and it's really, really quiet here. There's just nothing going on. About the only thing that might be of interest to people is the 2-meter temperatures, the HREF. This is the HREF 2-meter temperatures. And they suggest that we have a shot where we might not go above freezing today. That's the most exciting thing I could find. There's the zero contour comes right up to us this afternoon at about 18, 19 Z, and then it starts retreating. So we could stay below freezing for a day. That's the excitement. We already looked at the GEFS. I'll look at the NSET version. This shows the same thing what I showed earlier in the presentation. You can see the GEFS is actually forecasting it to get a little bit above freezing today and a little bit warmer tomorrow. Not quite, because a little wave goes by on Wednesday. Thursday gets even warmer. We're in the 40s, and these usually run cold. And our temperatures get into the upper 40s, and a lot of uncertainty because of that wave that goes to our west. But eventually, we're supposed to turn cold again. And if you look at the QPF with this, and it's got that weekend QPF event, but it's not really a significant event in terms of total precipitation, and there's a lot of uncertainty on the timing. So it's not really exciting, but if I pick a station like Minneapolis, is this Minneapolis? Can't see the name, I'll have to move this. Yeah, it's Minneapolis. You can see that they're gonna have a pretty good precipitation event around the 11th. And if we switch variables to snow, it's a significant snow event. It looks like the 4.37 is the mean snowfall. There's a couple of really like big outliers. There's one that's over a foot. There's a couple of low ones, but it looks like a good chance of snow in Minneapolis. And if you just kind of move back across the country, back towards Colorado, you can see, you know, the snow is mainly going to be in the plains from the Rocky Mountains. I think I did the total snow in the GFS over the next, like, the full cycle. It's thinking that it's going to be somewhere over like 30 inches of snow in some of the mountains of Colorado. So if you could get there in this time of COVID to go skiing, you'll probably have some good snow in the Colorado Rockies to ski. And I'll go back to State College, which is really unexciting, but and we'll go back to this very insignificant snow at all, and it's probably post frontals, you know, like the flurries we had this past early last week. And I'll go back to the 2-meter temperatures, and so nothing earth-shattering, you know, that there. Now, if we go to the European Center, I don't know if people use this site, but you can see the European Center meteograms. They have the precipitation event for this very light precipitation event with one outlier on Wednesday, and then they show a lot of uncertainty with the precipitation event. I'll have to go slide down here for the days, but this is basically the Saturday, Sunday period. They're showing there's a chance we'll probably have some light precipitation this weekend. And of course, it's in millimeters, it's pretty light. And there's a couple of outliers. And then if we come down to the temperatures, as you can see, it's pretty cool most of this week, but it's gradually warming up. And we get a nice warm period this weekend, relatively warm period this weekend. Temperatures up in the well into the 40s with some nighttime lows over well above freezing, and then we cool off behind it. I don't know if people use this page or not, but I like this presentation, but I have to zoom in on it where they show the model climate versus the forecast, and you can see they have this really light precipitation event that's well within the model normals. In fact, it's at the low end of model normal. And they show the weekend event, and they just show some light precipitation events potentially throughout the cycle, later in the cycle, because of uncertainty. And here's the temperature forecast. And let me go Control+. It's hard to read, but this is versus the model climate. And we're pretty close to model climate normal. Our low temperatures are on the kind of on the warm side of normal, but the high temperatures are pretty close to seasonal values. Then they get above around Friday, Saturday. The European Centers model thinks that the high temperatures from like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even to Monday are going to be on the warm side of the model normal, which is probably on the warm side of our climate normal. And then it cools back again. But you can see our low temperatures stay kind of on the high side of normal or the model normal. It's hard to see, but the model normal line is up in here for the highest temperature. This is the lowest temperature in the model over 30 years. And we're running on our low temperatures run on the high side of normal for low temperatures, which isn't exciting if you like winter weather, but if you like outdoor activities that don't require snow and ice, it's probably better than normal. And, so we'll switch gears because there's nothing really exciting happening. Otherwise, it's, you know, we might have some rain this coming weekend and then some flurries and light snow behind it. So here's the ENSO temperatures going back to January. And you can see we're in this ENSO neutral pattern that slowly became a La Nina. And the mean forecast has it going to, looks like about minus 1.7, which would be a strong La Nina. And then it kind of moderates as the winter goes on. So clearly the CPC has been forecasting, and even the long-range models, the extended version of the EC's system and the CPC all show that we're going to have a pretty warm winter over much of the southeastern United States, and we're kind of on the edges of that. And this is just the global sea surface temperature anomaly. You can see how cold the water is from South America all the way past the date line. And this is the blob of warm water. I read an interesting article about the blob of warm water, how it's expanded in scope over the Indian and Pacific Oceans since the 1950s, which is not good for the MJO cycle. It really affects precipitation, and some people think it kind of controls Arctic air into the eastern United States, eastern North America, and the bigger that pocket of warm air gets, the less that happens. And here's the global sea. This is the 2 meter temperature. I got to move this thing again. 2 meter temperature forecast for the season, December, January, February, and you can see cold over northern Canada, kind of near normal, and this is of course a forecast from the climate forecast system. The European Centers model doesn't usually look that different every time they run it, and we're kind of in the slightly above normal range, with much above normal in the southwest United States and the extreme southeast United States. So you can see where that's going to go with the CPC's forecast. If I go to the Climate Prediction Center's forecast, if I go to their 3-month outlook for temperatures, which I actually showed earlier, we're kind of in this above normal forecast, and the colder air is up here on the northern tier of the United States, and we're just on the slightly above normal, and there's the much more above normal temperatures are in the southern United States, and focus in the southwest, kind of almost a classic La Nina forecast. And as for precipitation, the forecast, I didn't show the precip from the climate forecast system, but it kind of showed really dry in the southern United States with an implied forecast track of Ohio Valley and western Great Lakes snow storms and stuff, and snow potential. So we would be on the wrong side of those storms like we are this month. And so we're kind of close to the borderline between normal to a slightly above normal. But clearly, as you move to the south and east, it's going to be drier. I was surprised to see the 6 to 10 day forecast having us above normal, because the implication is like we would probably be pretty close to normal if you look at the European Centers forecast and the extended GFS forecast. And their precipitation forecast shows us actually above normal, which is kind of surprising to me. And I'll go back to the slides. So I already showed this. This shows that we're going to probably bottom out, if you will, the cold anomaly in the Pacific. And this is the forecast pretty much for the winter, which doesn't bode well for snow lovers and people who like to ice skate. I wouldn't ice skate this year outdoors. unless you have a bathing suit on. And so in summary, it's a pretty quiet pattern, near normal week with an above normal towards the weekend. As the storm passes to our west, the storm that comes out of the Rocky Mountains will probably produce some good snow in the eastern Rockies and across portions of the northern plains later this week and the weekend. So we're going to obviously warm up ahead of that. We might get cold behind the storm. We could get a little rain ahead of it this weekend, as you saw in both the GEFS and the EC. Probably like best chance of rain would probably be like Sunday, then change to snow when the cold air comes through with some flurries, maybe some lake effect snow and mountain enhanced snow to our west. There are no big storms in store for us anytime soon that are going to come over us. And the winter outlook is kind of near normal for precipitation because we're on the borderline there, but above normal for temperatures as our moderate La Nina kind of swings into potentially a strong La Nina. So I'm not too excited about winter. And I've come to the conclusion that if you can't cross-country ski, you probably should be able to bicycle. So I'll take any questions or comments. I go exit.
Thank you, Marissa.
Okay, John has a question. Check the chat. I'm trying to find the chat. I see a Q&A button.
Up on you should have a black bar that'll drop down from the top of your screen, Rich. We won't be able to see it, but you should be able to. The rightmost button says more.
Yeah.
And then under there, you should find a button to bring up the chat.
I see meeting info, disable, hide names, video, meeting control, share, optimize.
I think that's where it is.
Yeah, it should be up there.
Okay.
All the way on the right side of that bar at the top.
Maybe I see the more button. Chat, the very first one. So one of the questions, there's a lot of questions here. Let's see. So yeah, the plumes from the European Center. Yeah, if you just go to the EC site, they have plumes and they're really great. You can pick your latitude and longitude and it'll pick your site. So I just gave it the latitude and longitude for State College. I have a couple saved that I go back to. I also gave it the latitude and longitude of Ludlow, Vermont, because that's where the Okemo ski resort is. So that's a free site. I think, in the PowerPoint presentation, I think I have a link. I put some links in. I think the link to the EC Plume is actually in the PowerPoint presentation, if you, the Google document presentation. So people should have that. So.
Yeah, Rich, if you, I requested access to it earlier. So if you want to accept that, or you can share it with my Gmail, I can put that in the chat as well. Okay. And then I can send that to the panelists later. Anyone who attended the meeting.
Did the presentation share work?
It didn't work, but that's because I think you'd shared it with my Penn State email, but I can send you my Gmail and you can share it with my Gmail and that should work.
So everybody, because the links are actually in there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no other comments or questions, I guess. I wish somebody could tell me it was going to be a nice snowy winter.
Hopefully it turns that way once some of us are back in town in January. My snow-deprived North Carolina self speaking here.
I think everybody who lives south of the Canadian border has been snow-deprived in the eastern United States for the last 2 years.
You're not wrong.
Well, if there are no other questions for Rich, then we can go about the rest of our Monday. Again, thank you for everyone who came to the weather briefings, either this one or any this semester. And I don't expect anything bad to happen next semester with Christopher in charge. So
it won't be 2020.
Yes, luckily, Chris, you don't have to deal with that.
I look forward to it.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.